Hey, all of my friends at home, how are you doing? Today, for the letter G, I'm going to read you a story about a gumball machine. And there are two boys in this story, one James and the other one's name is Danny. And James and Danny get some quarters and they go to this store and they try to get this little silver car that's about this big out of the gumball machine. But all they have is 9 quarters. Your art project or your math project for today is this gumball machine. And I'm sure most of you have seen a gumball machine, but a gumball machine looks like a glass ball on a stand, and you can put coins in here. So in this story, they're using quarters, and this is a real quarter, and the quarter would go inside here, and then you would turn the knob, and then gum would come out of a little spout. For your math, you're going to have a piece of paper like this, and then this paper. And you're going to have an adult read you the directions, and it tells you how many of each color of gumballs to put inside your gumball machine. So this is a pretty easy math project. And so when I'm done reading this story, if you'd like to start working on that, you can. And this story is called Gum, and the word gum begins with the letter G. And this is James and this is Danny. And we're going to find out if the boys get to that silver car inside the gum machine. All right. Gum. Look at all those gumballs that the boys are sitting in. That's a lot of gumballs. This book is written by Nancy Willard. I'm going to put my glasses on. Here is James standing by his parents' bed. This is James, and this is his parents. I would like my allowance, please, says James. What can you do with 5 quarters at 6 in the morning? Asked his mother. I can look at them, said James. His mother counts 5 quarters into his hand. What kind of quarter is this? Asked James, holding one up. Canadian, says his mother. Is it lucky? Asked James. Oh, yes, says his mother. James zips his 5 quarters into his secret pocket of his pants. He will need them after school when he and Janny go to Mr. Wright's store. And look at Mom, or Dad and Mom. Do they look very happy that James is waking them up and disturbing them in the morning? They don't look very happy. I think they just wanted to sleep. Here are James and Danny in Mr. Wright's store. And they're looking inside the gumball machine. And what do they see? They see lots of gumballs. And here is the little silver racer that they want so badly. When most people put a quarter in the gumball machine, they get 6 gumballs. Lucky people get 6 gumballs and a plastic 4-leaf clover. Very lucky people get 6 gumballs and a ring. Very, very lucky people get 6 gumballs and a little silver racer. There's only one silver racer in the Wright's gumball machine. Danny and James have kept their eye on it for a month. That's a long time. James puts his first quarter in the slot and holds out his hand. Something tumbles out of the spout. Did you get the racer? Asked Danny. Nope, says James. 6 gumballs. Your turn. Danny puts his first quarter in and holds out his hand. Something clatters out of the spout. Did you get the racer? Asked James. Nope, says Danny. I got 6 gumballs too. Your turn. Now these boys are getting kind of sad because they really want that racer, not gum. James puts his second quarter in and holds out his hand. Something small and still slides into it. I got something besides gum, he says. He opens his hand. You got a ring, said Danny, and James slips the ring on his pinky finger. Danny puts his second quarter in and holds out his hand. Something round runs out into it. 6 gumballs, he says. I wish I liked gumballs. He pockets them anyway to use on his marble slider. And so even though he didn't really want the gumballs, he kept them and put them inside his pocket. James put his third quarter in and holds out his hand. Right there. James opens his hand. Did you get the razor? Asked Danny. No, I got a 4-leaf clover. It's only got 3 leaves, says Danny. 1 broke off. James pockets the 3-leaf clover without enthusiasm. That means he wasn't really excited about it. Danny puts his third quarter in and holds out his hand. The silver racer gleams at the bottom of the globe. The gumballs jump and jostle together. Did you get the racer? Asked James. Danny opens his hand. No, I got a little wheel. But this machine doesn't give wheels, said James. It does now, says Danny. James puts his fourth quarter in and holds out his hand. Bing, bang, kaboom! He opens his hand. I got more gum, he says. Your turn. Danny puts his fourth and final quarter in and turns and holds out his hand. Criss, crash, kaboom! He opens his hand. I got gum too. Does he look happy? Not happy. James looks at his fifth and last quarter. This is a lucky quarter. I don't think I want to spend it. I bet the next guy will get the racer, says Danny. This is a Canadian quarter, said James. It has a deer on it. I don't know if you can see that. That racer must be just ready to drop out, says Danny. I bet if you jiggle the machine, the racer could go plunk on the floor. So what do you think he's going to do? Think he's going to wiggle the machine around? Let's find out. James holds his fifth and last quarter in the slot just to see if the Canadian quarter will fit. So he puts it right on the edge. In the excitement of seeing that it does, he loses his grip. Oh no! The gumball machine swallows the Canadian quarter. Oh no, the one with the deer on it. Nothing happens. Nothing comes out at all. Then out shoot 12 green gumballs, 14 red gumballs, 3 black gumballs, 7 4-leaf clovers, 8 orange gumballs, 10 blue gumballs, 8 erasers, and 4 rings. That's a lot of things that came out of that gumball machine. Here is Mr. Wright running. What did you do to it? He shouted. I just put in a quarter, says James. Grab him, shouts Mr. Wright. All the customers bend down and start grabbing. Toss him in my hat, boys, says Mr. Wright. All the customers throw gumballs into Mr. Wright's hat. I think he wants to put them back in the machine. Here is Mr. Wright's clean floor. Now there's only 1 gumball left. Mr. Wright fetches a sign and he hangs it on the gumball machine. Out of order. That means it's broken. James never got his gum, says Danny. He put a quarter in, but he never got his gum. I don't even like gum, says James. I want my quarter back. Mr. Wright reaches into his pocket and pulls out a quarter. James looks at it. I want the same quarter I put in, he says. It's a Canadian quarter. It's a lucky quarter. How many quarters do you think there are in there? Asked Mr. Wright. I can't possibly find your quarter. James starts to cry. I want my quarter back. He wants his quarter back, says Danny. Now look, says Mr. Wright. If you don't like gum, you can pick one of the prizes instead. Okay, says James. I'll take the racer. What racer? The one in the bottom of the gumball machine. Mr. Wright sighs. He takes the key from his pocket, unlocks the machine, and lifts the lid off. And what's inside? Right there. It's all yours, says Mr. Wright, and he gives James the little silver racer. James picks up the racer, but it's only got 3 wheels, he says. Tell you what, says Danny, you can borrow my wheel if I can play with your racer. Okay, says James, we'll share it. It's a deal, says Danny. I knew that quarter was lucky, says James. And so that's the end of the story. And both boys were happy because they got the silver racer. And Danny had the wheel that belonged to the racer. And so now they're going to share that little racer. And that was a fun story. I hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget, you're going to do your gumball machine, have an adult tell you how many. This one says count and peel 5 dots. And then you're going to put 5 blue dots inside your gumball machine. And then you'll finish all the rest. And then that's it for the math. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks. Have a good day.